I feel like a lot of people, especially when they get older, their creativity goes away and they get less in pursuit of what they really are interested in because they're chasing either money or something else. If you're really interested in something, no matter the money, stay in pursuit of that. Especially student athletes, only 2% of athletes go professional, and there's, millions of athletes that aren't going to go professional. I can totally depend on track, but like, that's just not who I am. Like, I want to have options. Hey, like, you're hurt, you won't ever be able to run again. Let's explore another option. So always having like a backup, I feel like is very important. Always being in pursuit of a better you. I know a lot of people will change their life around for someone else, but you got to do what makes you happy no matter the end of the day. Even in the hard times, stay down and diligent, and it'll all fall into place.
Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
Secrets to Abundant Living podcast community. My name is Amy Sylvis. I'm so excited to welcome you to another episode of the podcast. I have a superstar for you all today. I'm a little starstruck, I'm not going to lie, but this is really an honor to have Micah Williams with us today. I spoke to him a couple weeks ago and was just blown away, not only by his story, but also by his mindset. So I'm really excited for you all to get to meet him. And welcome to the podcast, Micah.
I appreciate it. I wish I was a superstar. I'm trying to get a new level within the real estate game, but I appreciate you introducing me like that. But it's a quick thing about me. Like I at Oregon, I just graduated from Oregon last year. I transferred here to USC this year to just do track. At Oregon, I did football and track, but mainly track. And that was like mainly what I did there. When I was there at Oregon, I did a lot in terms of on the track since I did sports. So I won 2021, I won the Olympic team, I made Olympic team. 2022, I made the world team, but I decided not to go because I don't know, I was just tired, COVID, just a whole bunch of other stuff. But they asked me to be on there. 19, I was the fastest 19-year-old ever. I still am tied right now, actually. And then, I won a lot of meets and stuff. But that's beyond the point. I have some records at Oregon, but that's beyond the point. But that's just a basic thing about me. And I played football, and then I transferred here this last year after having 2 knee surgeries. So I had a knee surgery last year, knee surgery September this year. And then I actually had an eye surgery in November. And then I'm having another eye surgery in January sometime. So it kind of changed the trajectory for me, I would say, because I was, top of the world and track, doing really well. And then, I got hurt, the first 2 years in college, it was crazy. I was Olympian, world team, fastest 19 ever, Oregon record holder, all these things. And then I won Pac-12. So it was all these things going really positive. And then the next year I had a lot of down. I guess the last 2 years were pretty much downhill. So it kind of reversed me to start going into stuff I was interested in. And that's when I did real estate. And then here I transferred to USC, and then everyone was like, the network is crazy. If you just, network, and, network was always hard for me as I was always doing, a lot of stuff with sports. I really never had time. So then I just started going out at USC, I had my surgery, and that's where I met Amy, and she's been helping me out with every change. So it's been great. It's amazing.
We're just getting started. I know. How old are you again? You're 20?
I'm 23.
23.
I'm an old head, yeah. Old head, yeah.
I'm 43. Okay, watch your words. No, I'm kidding. Wow. Okay, so like you said, going from an Olympian, playing football, running track at Oregon, now you're at SC. You've had all these surgeries.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about abundance on this podcast, and at such a young age, during our conversation, you really blow my mind with your mindset in terms of, because I think any person would really take that hard, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
If your life changing that much would be difficult. But talk to me about how you've been able to find, the positive or the abundance in this time that's, would be really difficult for anybody.
Yeah, it's been super, super hard. I'm not going to sit up here and say that it wasn't hard. I'm not going to sit here and say there wasn't hard time. But the reason why my mindset got so good is because I look at everything as a positive, because if I would have never transferred, if I would have never got hurt, I would have never been in SC. I'd have been in Oregon, probably, not running track, just with a regular job somewhere else. So I kind of look at it as a blessing, because I remember last year when I was talking to my girlfriend, just talking to my family, I was just so if this thing happens, then it's meant to be. If it doesn't happen, then it's not meant to be. So I remember telling myself well, if I had to have this knee surgery, I'm going to transfer and I'm going to evolve. And then I remember, but if it doesn't, and I don't have to have knee surgery, I'm just gonna stay here and just figure it out and do whatever. So even then, I just thought of everything as a positive. Like if I had never got hurt, I'd have never been, at SC. I would have never met you. I'd never met Eduardo, who I met on LinkedIn, who's been helping me a lot. I would never met a lot of people. So like that's a blessing on its own. And I don't know. I just think of everything positive now because, I could be an example. If I would have ran really fast and I would have went professional, I'd have been a pro. I don't know where my life, I probably wouldn't have had my degree. I definitely wouldn't have been at SC. I definitely wouldn't have been in LA. So like my life would have changed dramatically. And, I can only move forward really. I think now as I got both my surgeries, like I can't change the outcome of my surgery and I can't go back and say, hey, no, I don't want the surgery no more because my leg is hurting. So now I can only move forward and hopefully, try to inspire people, especially since I was world's best. And that's the goal is for me, hopefully like to just inspire people. Like I was world's best in something and then I hit rock bottom and then I worked my way up to be really good at something else. That's kind of, like the motivation of like, hey, I was world's best and people saw me like I was on a pedestal and then I hit rock bottom and no one cared and no one saw me when I was, at the rock bottom. And now I'm working my way back up to get to a certain area I want to, just like how sports is. So that's how it is. Yeah.
Micah, it takes people decades and decades to have this mindset if they ever think about it. And here you are at 23. And I just think of this notion or this quote that I've heard of, it's not whether you get knocked down in life because you're going to, it's just how many times do you get back up? And you're currently, a rock star in that and, reinventing yourself and thinking through, okay, what can I control? Just to kind of interpret what you're saying. You can't control the injury. You couldn't control, the fact that things happen to me, but how can you make the best of what's going on is just amazing. Did you learn this from your family, from friends, from where did this amazing mindset come from?
I think it's just something that has always been instilled with me as, sports has always been like in my life. In sports, a lot of times in sports, you always hit rock bottom. And even in a lot of the sports that I did, I was never the best at when I first started. Like when I played football, I was just like, I was good, but I wasn't like the best. When I did basketball, I was good, but I was never the best. And even when I first started track, I was really bad. Like I wasn't like the best. So I knew how it was to be just like not the best at something. So then when I got, to the high, like the pedestal being really, really good, I'm like, oh, this kind of feels weird because I'm used to being at the bottom. But, like I'll be humble about it since, I worked my way from working, because like when I was in high school, I was working days and days and days and days and days to become really, really good at track. So this became like, I think just like a thing in my mind now within life in general. It's kind of the same way, like you hit rock bottom or even then you start really bad at something. Even then, it's still hard for me to be really bad at something now since I've been so good at something for so long. But even then, like when I played football or even football is so hard. Like everyone is just as good as you. So like, I don't know. It's just like just being able to like, for me, I don't know, be so good, like being so bad and then being really good and then hitting rock bottom again and then, having to work back up is just, I don't know. I feel like it also helped me humble myself more because I'm going to this top. I was really bad and I'm really good. And then now it's like, okay, actually, okay, now you're going to go down. You're going to go back down to the bottom and then we're going to work back up just so you can humble yourself again. So I think it was good. I think I learned a lot. Like if you asked me a year ago today, I probably would have answered it like totally different. But I was also in a different space. And I feel like at SC, it's been, a blessing. Like I met great people. The doctors are great. Everything's great here. And I couldn't complain at all. So that's why I feel like I'm in a better spirit. Like if I was at Oregon, it would probably be a totally different answer. But, SC's been amazing to me and people are amazing. So it's been great.
That's amazing. Wow. What I appreciate you being real because there is something about, everyone, there's your cute cat.
Sure.
So cute.
Hey, buddy.
So there's something really about, just this almost toxic positivity, right? Or everything's all the time, but you of, hey, this has been a cycle. If you talked to me a while ago, maybe I wasn't in that great of a mindset.
Yeah.
I think that really helps people understand that you don't have to have shame about where you are. You don't have to be perfect and rainbows and unicorns all the time, but you can work towards building yourself, and you're not abnormal. If something terrible happened to you and you're kind of down, like that's normal. It's okay to be that, but you can progress. So I think, Micah, a lot of people that listen to this podcast are really successful people in their field, some in real estate, some in other industries that may be going through a transition themselves. Maybe they got laid off and they weren't expecting it. Maybe the family dynamic has changed. Can you give us a little bit of an insight of you're recovering from your surgery? Like you said, you were on this pedestal, you got knocked out a bit. What was going through your head? Like, what was the inner dialogue you had with yourself to kind of lift yourself up?
I think it'd be, like I said, it'd be very hard to say that I didn't like have like super, super bad thoughts to be like, dang, my career is over. This is over. This is over. But like ultimately, I just had to like sit down and realize like who I wanted to be as a person. And I knew I didn't want to be that one person that always says, what if? Like, what if I, reach this goal? And even then, I believe anyone can learn a skill if they put their mind to it. Just because, like, for me, like, I mastered like a lot of skills. Like, I'm not like great at anything, but I'm really good at a lot of things. Like, even then, like, I could build cars since I learned how to build cars from scratch. I built my own car from scratch. So I'm really good at photography. I like videography. Like the things that people are interested in. I think people are scared because it's like they see these great people doing great stuff right now when they spend years on it. I think comparison is really hard for people and getting set back. And that was really hard for me. It's like, hey, I want to get to this level in, real estate or track or here, but I had to beat this person. And it's just being okay with being average now and being able to work from average to great. Because I believe anyone, if they have their mind to it, they can be average and they can work to great. That's what a lot of successful people do. Like all the successful athletes or people in general, they may not be the talented always, or, the most smartest or the greatest, but they're able to like use their mindset or even motivation to like teach themselves how to get better and over that pedestal that, the average person wouldn't do. That's the one thing that I was able to do. I feel like I was able to really take my, do a lot of things that, the regular person that was student athlete wouldn't want to do. I was a student athlete and I was able to like get over that hump and then like make myself different from other student athletes. And that's really why I feel like I'm here today, to be honest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears because you're really interested in real estate. I mean, you're interested in a lot of things, but you're interested in real estate too.
Yeah.
How you and I got connected. Tell me about your passion around this. Tell me about, what made it interesting. Why do you think it's your next step? I really want to highlight kind of your thoughts on this.
I feel like I've always liked real estate. Even growing up, me and my parents always watched some big real estate shows. And even on YouTube, like, I'd always watch like these big, people like destroying houses and rebuilding it back up. That was always something that was very like interesting to me. Even then, like cars, like you're able to like destroy a car, like destroying cars or even destroy cars and rebuilding them back up was always an interest in me. And it like the same thing is kind of in real estate, but now you got like a house and a land and furniture and, pool. And then you can kind of like do your own thing. But even then, like I got back into real estate like early, like when I was maybe a freshman in college. It was just like something me and my friend were interested in. Like we were like, hey bro, like we both like real estate, let's like find something to get into. So then we got into, wholesaling. We're about to make a wholesaling company. And we started doing this, me and him. Like we both knew our strengths. He liked to talk all the time. At the time, like I was more rich eyes, so I'm very much behind the scenes guy. So we made a deal where we would go half on everything, and then whatever profit we make, we'll go half. So he did all the cold calling and everything, and then I, sent him the list. I sent him the buyer, I sent him all this. So that's like kind of what we were doing at first. We had like 3 properties in Oregon, 3 or 4. We got one on the coast. We got a gas station, like someone like owned it, and then we had like 2 other ones. And then, but for like the last 2 that were on the coast were on the sale, no one wanted to buy it because for some reason the coast properties are super expensive to buy, and we couldn't find buyers. But we had a couple of houses that me and him got in that was bought by the wholesaler. So that's what we had. And then, to be honest, it got too hard. Like we were both in school and we were like, hey, screw that. So then we tried finding other alternatives. Like we did Airbnb arbitrage, but then, renting was super like, everyone was renting, nobody was buying. So then all the like people were like this property manager, like, nah, we don't care. Like all our units are full. Like we don't need, even though like, I'm like, no, we'll keep it clean. Like we'll have people do this, but this. They're like, nah, we don't care. Like we just care about the money and we don't want to like sublease it or whatever. So then we stopped doing that. And then I really just got into like flipping and burn. That's really kind of what I found interest for. And when I would ask people in Oregon, I don't know, they just weren't really that willing to help me, especially in Eugene. Eugene's like a small town. So everyone is like, it's very, very college townish. And for some reason, the prices in Oregon will be like the prices in California. I'm like, okay, like, no. But it's just super expensive. So then I just started saving up. And then I'm just like looking for like opportunities and just like trying to like get into like building houses and stuff again. Or hopefully my goal, like I really love like, even then, like I'm trying to like master architecture because I took architecture in high school and for one of my majors. So like just being able to like learn architecture, just build houses, like find a house that's like really, really bad, like no one wants, and then rebuild it and then like make it into something cool and like rent it out, Airbnb. That's kind of like really what I want to do because I don't know, like building something that like people would think is trash is just so like mesmerizing for me. Like, I don't know, like even if I have like a contractor or designer, hey, I want my house to look like this. Let's make it happen. Like that's really what I want to do. Like that's if I can get that part of real estate where I have like a contractor and a designer, and then I like find properties and we flip them, like that would be lit. Because it's just like how when I build cars, yeah, that's the goal of mine. Yeah, yeah, that's really what I want. Yeah,
yeah. Wow. So the theme I'm hearing from you is you and your friends have just tried different things in real estate.
Yeah.
You're not afraid to try. You're not afraid to be new. You're not afraid to learn, and you're not afraid to fail. If something doesn't work, you're not sitting there, crying over it. Maybe you have a moment where you're like, ugh, but on to the next thing. And you've got this vision. It sounds like you really like working with your hands. You like the architecture. You like to bring something that's maybe knocked down and make it amazing again. I love that.
That's the goal of mine. Because even then, like for me, like I always like doing something that I can improve on. And that's just like real estate 101. Like you can like really like buy something that's dirt bottom and then you can improve it to like a vision. And that's always been like, even cars, like even in sports in general, like there's only like even certain sports that you can go, even track is hard for me because sometimes it's like a certain genetic potential you get to where you can't like improve anymore. No matter how hard you work, you can only improve so much genetically. So that's the only thing. That's why track is hard because I'm like, I'm throwing up, I'm doing all this. And like, I won't get any better this year. I'm just doing it to run like the same time I ran last year, which is tough. But within real estate and cars, like, okay, I can buy a wrecked car that has the bumper falling off or whatever falling off or the engine's dented in and you got to do all this body work. But it's like, well, I can make it pretty again. Like it gives me like something like an end goal to go for. No matter like how many cars we get, like I'll always have an end goal, or even no matter how many houses I get, we'll always get an end goal. But I've never been afraid to fail. I think that's what my parents always instilled in me is like even putting me in all these sports they knew I was terrible at, like I still had to like prevail. Like I had to get better. Even school, like when I was in middle school and high school, I struggled with school, or middle school, I struggled with school, but then my parents were like, it's fine, like you'll prevail. And then I prevailed in high school and I prevailed in college, even though like school was really, really hard for me at first. So like I was just never afraid to fail. Like even with like my brand, like if I failed, okay, whatever, like it was a learning experience. So even like when I connected to people from like my clothing brand that I made, I'm like just connecting. And if I fail, oh well, I spent all the money, like it's whatever now, but now I know how not to do what I did last time. Because even then, like last year, like getting suppliers, like it's hard. Like when I was doing my clothing brand, getting suppliers was hard because like you got to meet with people overseas. I'm like, yo, overseas, like that's crazy. And you gotta be really detailed. Like when I first started, like I wasn't detailed at all. I was just like, hey, can you do this? I just sent them a picture. And then they messed up. I'm like, like what do I have to do to like make sure they don't mess up? And you gotta learn that you gotta make a tech pack with specific measurements and how you want it and like detailed. And I started learning how to make tech packs. And then I'm like, okay, this tech pack's taking too long. Now I get a designer and my designer come with an idea. He'll help me come up with everything. So it's like just learning like all that stuff has been like, and I would have never knew that if I would have never experienced it, or even if I go in product design or product whatever. Now I know how to communicate with people overseas. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of learning. I would say I failed a lot, even within track and sports. Then now, like I'm okay with failing, to be honest. Unless it's like I fell so hard I can't live, but like I haven't did that yet, so I haven't felt that hard yet. Yeah, I haven't fell on my face where I couldn't get back up. The only fell on my face, I was able to get back up, so that's been good.
Well, and that's really the strategy. I mean, you're clearly an entrepreneur through and through.
Yeah.
And it is not a matter of if you're going to fail. We all fail in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
The faster you can fail and learn from it and move on to the next, you are that much closer to the success that inevitably you're going to have. So to know that, again, at just such a young age is incredibly inspiring to me. I'm also really impressed, Micah. We mentioned Eduardo, our mutual friend. You reached out to me. That's not easy to just, hey, reach out to people who are maybe doing things you're interested in. What gave you that idea? What gave you the courage? Was there anything that kind of made you nervous or held you back? Can we talk about that?
I'm still am pretty nervous reaching out to people because like even then I really never know what to say starting off. Like,
Yeah.
but for me, I just try to be as authentic as possible. So that's what I knew. Like for me in general, like in my undergrad, just learning about being, storytelling and being authentic. I just knew that would take me a long way.
Yeah.
But like reaching out to people was like very hard because like, some people like think you just want to use them for like their knowledge, which, I never want to do. I always want to like be genuine and like for people, like I never want to be like, hey, I just want to use you. But, I just try to like learn from people. Like that's really all I ever did was learn. And like being able to like connect with people like you or Gordo, like just me being authentic, like will take me a long way. And then if they don't like me and who I am, then it's like it was never meant to be in the first place.
Yes.
So that's what I always try to be. It's really hard to reaching out and like just like meeting and scheduling. Because I'm like, I got tired of like this. But like, I want to be successful outside of sports, especially since like if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have never done this because I was like, I don't care. Like I'm on top of the world. I ran fast. Like I don't care. Like like I'll be able to do it, whatever. But now I'm learning that like, I feel like it was a good learning experience. Like, hey, you got hurt. Let's take a step back. Let's start, connecting with people. Let's start, learning your interests. So like the shark stuff or the professional stuff doesn't work out. And, you have interest in real estate. You have interest in here. You have connections here. With these people. So yeah, it's been very hard. Like it took me a while just to sit down. Like I remember I was like, damn. I remember on LinkedIn, I ran out of searches. I was like, dang. I was like, oh, well, like, but then like 2 days later, it was like, oh, okay, you can get 50% off the searches. I'm like, okay, it's a sign. So then I started doing that. And then, I just started reaching out. And then a lot of people obviously didn't reply. They're like, oh, whatever. But, you said something and then the girl said something. So it was all good. So like, because even then, like when NIL is like the new thing in college sports. Like when that first came out, like I didn't know any of the rules, but I was going on my email. I'm like, okay, I'm going to reach out to like 1,000 companies or 30 companies a day. And then we'll see what happens. And I reached out to 30 and only like 5 or 6 companies replied, but the 5 or 6 companies I started a relationship today. So it was like, you just never know. So I just think it's really cool to like connect with people. And I like learning people's stories as well, like learning yours and how you came up. You're looking at Gordo's and seeing how he came up. Yeah. It's all interesting to me. It's like, I don't know. It's like you just like build up thinking about people's stories. It's cool. Because you learn from their story as well. That's why I think it's really good.
So true. And for those who don't know what NIL is, it's name, image, and likeness. And it's completely changed the college game. You used to not be able to take money or earn money. And I mean, my humble opinion, no one asked me, but it seems like a fair thing for college athletes who put their blood, sweat, and tears and bodies on the line to be able to earn some money. So we're in the infancy, and I know USC is, kind of still figuring it out, it seems like as well. But folks, some background there.
It's very new. It became a thing in July of 2021. So like my freshman year, it became a thing. Like they're like, hey, you can start making money. There really was no barriers on it. Like there was no barriers. Like people were just like, it was like the Wild Wild West. Like people just could throw any money at anyone. But they're starting to become like regulations now. Not any really so far, but it's starting to like slowly come down where people can't make as much or like there isn't as big of a wage gap between sports. Because obviously if you're a sports that makes, not 80% of the revenue, then 80% of the revenue is going to go towards them and they're going to be the higher payers. So it just varies. Like some schools do better than others and some schools do worse than others. Some schools don't even have NIL and some schools do have NIL. Like I see, soccer on it. I see baseball on it. I see football on it. I see track on it. So they're doing really well and making sure that not only, the sports, like the big sports make, 80% of the revenue, but, they're changing it around, I think, for a lot of sports, which I think is very unique. Because if you look at most schools, like SEC schools are not doing that. Like football is 80% and 80% is going back to football. So, or basketball for some schools, ACC schools. So I think they're doing a really good job, especially because women's basketball is taken care of, track's taken care of, football is taken care of, soccer's taken care of. Like it's very much, all around. Beach volleyball is taken care of. I feel like it's very well taken care of here, for sure.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, back to you reaching out, again, highlighting the fact that maybe you're nervous and that's normal to be nervous or not, but do it anyway, right? Feeling the fear, doing it anyway. And Yeah, I was just so impressed by you reaching out and the great questions you had. And, I had this crazy idea of having you on my podcast because I was so impressed with you.
Yeah.
You're like, sure, let's do it. I'm like, this is amazing. This is really fantastic. So let's dive a little bit deeper into real estate and kind of what you need to succeed. What's next? What's next for Micah in the real estate space? How can we help you? What does that look like? What do you think would serve you the best to get you to where you want to go? What ideas do you have? Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession-resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. I'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show.
It just depends. I have a couple ideas, especially since I'm in the MSCI, which is the Master's of Entrepreneurship Innovation at USC.
Yeah.
And also even then, when I was talking to people on LinkedIn about real estate, I was also thinking about, is there any space that I could, take advantage of or get involved with? A lot of people, we're all different. All the people I met were different real estate. It was kind of weird. One was infrastructure, one was property management, one was a marketer. So I was taking notes on everything and everything. And I kind of I started finding there was a lot of, but there wasn't a lot, but I kind of finding a disparity, a barrier in investors. So I'm trying to work on a product to help investors get involved. Cause even this one guy I met with, he was talking about what did he say? He said, it's so hard for me as an investor to know who to go to. I'll go on there, I'll go on Zillow and I have the money, but I don't know what to do with it. Or I want the money, but I just want to throw it into something. But I don't always trust people with my money. So I'm just trying to create something within that space, maybe a space for investors to have a website or a platform where they can be hey, I'm up my money. I can see a return, or hey, these are the properties this person has. Let's say you have properties or whatever, and hey, I have these properties in this area. This makes a return here. I don't really care about what it looks like, but I want to get into it. In LA, I have a lot of money. LA is a growing market. Their equity grows really fast. I want to go in this area. Or I don't have that much capital, and I want to go in what's it called? I don't do something around there. Just pretty much build connections, hopefully, with people that are interested in investing, and hopefully for me. I hopefully, I said, build houses. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to have capital, take a house that's in maybe not a terrible spot in LA, but let's say it's in LA or somewhere else where I'm living, and it's terrible, but it's in a good neighborhood, but nobody wants it. It's destroyed, looks ugly. I can make it look pretty, modern, and do whatever. That's really what I want to do. But I'm just waiting, as I save up, get more capital, maybe hopefully create my brand, create my whatever I find a problem within, real estate. Hopefully USC can help me create it. And hopefully I can get, investors involved, and then hopefully build up from there, create my connection with investors. And then push that. One thing that everyone always said is they're master your skill and you be unique in their field. This one guy I met, he actually started with real estate photography, and that helped him build a whole real estate empire. It was crazy. He was taking people's pictures in Beverly Hills and just just taking the pictures. We're doing this. This was back 10, 15 years ago. And then he ended up just building his empire off of that. We just mastered the skill of just taking pictures of people's real estate, and it became a real estate empire, because people were well, I want you to take pictures, but I also want you to do this with me. And now you can take half of this property, or you can take 1% of whatever this is if you don't sell it or whatever. So they just kept doing that. So hopefully just to create a whole bunch of connections where people will start believing in, the ideas. If I come up with an idea to you or someone else, and oh, actually that sounds great. Let's do it. I'm old. Yeah. So that's the goal. Hopefully I can create something that people in the real estate can find useful, And then hopefully I can just, whatever, if I make something good there, use that money to invest more. Because LA is expensive to live. So it's expensive land. It's expensive land, a lot expensive land, but it's a pretty place to live. Like I couldn't see myself anywhere else, to be honest.
Oh, that's great. Well, we're really
Yeah.
lucky to have you. I love Oregon. Lots of respect for their program, but I love that you're a Trojan now as well.
Yeah, nah, Trojan is, you can't go wrong with being a Trojan. And like the people out here in LA are so useful and they're so helpful. I would have never thought, like, I had such a bad like reputation of USC at Oregon. Like it's like weird, like Oregon people hate USC and USC hate Oregon people. But like when I was at Oregon, I'm like, oh, I hate USC. It was terrible. But then I hear, I'm like, wait, that's actually not the case. It's actually like way different. And I just think we have like a preconceived notion of like certain schools and certain people. And I don't know, I need being here like was a big adjustment, but it's an amazing adjustment that I had to make as well.
It's a big rivalry. Oregon's really good at football. So, all right. I love sports, a lot of sports, right? So
yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. Cause like now I'm here and I'm like a hardcore USC fan. And I'm like, damn it. Like I was trying to win. Like I was trying to beat Oregon. Like I can't be going now. I see them going 12-0. I'm like, come on. Like I can't root for that team. I got to root for USC. And USC is like, no, man. Like you guys are on a roll. Yeah, it hurts. But USC overall is a really good pro. Like they're very competitive in every single sport. Like besides, even outside of football, like swimming, soccer. Like they made Final A in soccer. They're very competitive in tennis, track, like football. Is like okay, but like they'll be good. They'll be good soon. I'm hoping because I can't be rooting for them when they're getting beat this bad. It's like damn man, like I'm not.
We'll get
trying
there.
to stay in my roots. Yeah, we'll be there. It will take time.
But
sooner or later.
So, Micah, let's wrap this up in terms of what advice would you give, let's say, to someone who has really hit hard times, regardless of their age, or maybe even someone who's a student athlete just starting out, feels kind of, lost. Maybe they want to make sure they have a future, outside of, sports is amazing. They're going to continue.
Yeah.
They want to have maybe a plan B or a second thing kind of going on. What would be your advice to that type of person?
I think really, it just depends. For me, like I would say, like if someone were to ask me and they were like, it's similar shoes, I'd just say stay in pursuit. Stay in pursuit of what you want. I feel like a lot of people, especially when they get older, their creativity goes away and they get like less, in pursuit of what they really are interested in because they're chasing either money or something else. I think in terms of like, if you're really interested in something, no matter the money, like stay in pursuit of that. Especially student athletes, only 2% of athletes go professional, and there's, millions of athletes that are like, that aren't going to go professional. But if I were to tell them, I would say really like use your resources. Like a lot of people don't use their resources, or even LinkedIn. Like I didn't want to spend the money for LinkedIn, but I knew it was going to be like long-term. Like if I wanted to get into like, if I want to say track-wise, that could be fine. And I can, just totally depend on track. But like, that's just not who I am. Like, I want to have options like outside, like, hey, like you're hurt, you won't ever be able to run again. Let's explore another option. So always having like a backup, I feel like is very important, but always staying in pursuit. Like kind of like what Lexus is. I forgot what their tagline is. I love Lexus cars, by the way. But their tagline is like pursuit of excellence or something like that. So like, always being in pursuit of a better you, even if that doesn't always like stay with, anyone else. I know a lot of people like would change their like life around for someone else, but you got to do what makes you happy no matter the end of the day, and staying in pursuit of like your better self will always be like the common goal. Like you always have your own back, no matter like who even though people say they have your back, like the only person that have your own back is yourself. Now I would say like just keep, even in the hard times, like stay down and diligent, and it'll all fall into place. Because 2 years ago, or even last year when I got a surgery, I was like, yeah, this is terrible. Like, I don't know if I can go any better, but now I'm here and, it's better and, it's been bright. So, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, I would always say, because at the tunnel before I was looking and it was all dark, and now like the light is starting to come. And I would just say like, time will tell. That's the biggest thing. Like time will tell. Even if you're like older, like 50, 60, 70, like if you have a passion, like, okay, I'm gonna do it, then go ahead and do it. Like, shouldn't be afraid. So like, especially nowadays, there's a lot more resources out there to help you.
So inspiring, Micah. I cannot
Yeah.
continue to follow your story, your
Yeah.
mindset, your work ethic, your communication skills, your
Yeah.
creativity. You are not going to have a choice but to be successful and realize your dreams.
Yeah.
So I am so excited to follow your journey.
I appreciate it.
Of course, for people that want to reach out to you, because I have a feeling folks are going to want to get in touch with you. What's the
Yeah.
way for them to get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me on anything. LinkedIn. I'm usually active on everything. I've been super active on LinkedIn. I try to get off social media. You know, it's kind of like mentally it sucks because like I'll be on all day just scrolling, but like LinkedIn, my email, like everything was like available. I'm always open. Especially if they reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'll give them my number. Like the majority of the time, if they're not weirdos.
Yes.
But yeah, as long as I'm not like some weird person, like being weird. But like usually I give them my number, and I'm usually always down to like make time to talk. I usually always like learn from other people, especially smarter than me. Like, I got a lot of people smarter than me because it makes me feel like dumb. But then it's like, wow, there's so much more room to grow. You know what I mean? Like it's so much more room to grow when someone's smarter than you. So yeah, just like anything is usually available. Even social media, but I'd be less active on there, more LinkedIn, and I'd be on with like every day, growing, trying to learn. Yeah,
Smart man.
yeah. So yeah. It's cool.
All right. Well, wishing you all the best, Micah. I know I'm speaking for everyone listening to this. We're going to be cheering you on. And
Yeah,
by
thank
on,
you.
of course.
Yeah,
And-
fight on always.
Thanks again, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us on today's episode. Share this episode because you know Micah's going to inspire people, everyone. So find one or two people in your network. Share this episode. Let's spread the word and the positivity that Micah has. And have an abundant day, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.